The Chicago Sky have had a blur of a season, both on and off the court, and now they've dropped a surprise that's left fans stunned. The team has released, traded, and lost a staggering number of players, reshaping the squad in a way that nobody saw coming. Let's break it down. 11 players are gone in 2024 alone.
90 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Looking for Reese. Bentley tips it away and off and running. Caitlin Clark wins the pass. Thread the needle by.
At the start of the 2024 season, the roster was buzzing with promise. Fans were excited, analysts were hopeful, and the hype was real. But as the season went on, it became painfully clear that what people thought would happen did not. A lot of people thought Kieser Gondrezick would do well with the Sky. She was the 4th pick in the draft and brought talent and promise to Chicago. The story was simple. This was her chance to make things right after a rough start to her career. The Sky even called her a possible X factor quote and talked up her ability to make shots and score when the pressure was on. But Kashri had a hard time when the lights were on full. After only one season made, fans wonder what went wrong.
Right on cue, another turnover. Gondrezick steps back for 3. Kaiser Gondrezick!
And just look at all the defenders for Kansas State. They're all in the paint.
Brenna Maxwell is the next one. Coming out of college, she was touted as a sharpshooter with an incredible range. The Sky saw her as someone who could stretch the floor and provide an offensive spark off the bench. Fans were thrilled about the idea of Maxwell, lighting it up from beyond the arc. Instead, Maxwell
shoot the ball. Paige Reese cannot shoot the ball. Kennedy Carter, if she comes back, cannot shoot the ball. But it looks like she's not coming back. So it's looking like you might lose out on Kennedy Carter and Olivia Miles, because you're like, oh, it's exciting. Yes, Olivia Miles, she's going to be a Sky. Why would the Sparks not take her? The Sparks are not going to take her.
Her shooting percentages weren't great. Her defense wasn't always solid, and she was having trouble fitting in with the team's system. Her comeback story turned into a story of broken promises that should have taught her a lesson. A superstar, her reliability was supposed to help stabilize the front court. Unfortunately, Reimer failed to make an impact. Her minutes were sporadic, her production was minimal, and ultimately the Sky decided to move on, waiving her before the season even hit its stride. Robin chance to showcase her skills. Limited minutes and inconsistent performances led to her being waived. While she's back on a rookie-scale contract, the initial hype has cooled significantly, leaving fans unsure if she can truly develop into the player the Sky hoped for.
Back here to Winchester Arena, you see Camila Cardoso on the bench there alongside Brenna Maxwell. So unfortunately, Camila Cardoso suffered a shoulder injury and will be out for approximately 4 to 6 weeks, and then will be reevaluated.
Taya Reimer came in with veteran poise and a reputation for being a solid presence in the post. While she wasn't,
and they know Courtney Williams isn't on the floor right now. Great point. And Avery Hire can 3. She's already knocked one down. Robin Parks has done some good work rebounding today. Don't see her do that a lot.
These players were supposed to form the core of the Sky's rebuild, but inconsistency, lack of opportunity, and perhaps even bad roster management led to disappointment across the board. Chicago fans are now left wondering, was this roster doomed from the start, or did the front office mismanage the talent they had?
My name is Ksenia
Malashka were 2 players who generated intrigue for their international and collegiate achievements. Parks was known for her scoring ability overseas, while Malashka was a rising prospect with a versatile game. Fans hoped they could be hidden gems for the Sky's roster, but that excitement never materialized. Parks never suited up for the Sky, and Malashka didn't get a chance to develop with the team. By renouncing their rights, Chicago basically closed the door on what could have been 2 breakout stories. The hype was real, but the effects were anything. Fans were excited when she joined, hoping her international experience would translate into WNBA success. The hype was real. A player who had led China to the FIBA Women's World Cup final, touted as one of the best centers outside the US. But here's the hard reality: her production didn't match the promise. Struggles with consistency and fitting into the Sky's system left both the team and fans frustrated.
Skip over the top. Drew working on Russell. Yeah, nice little move there. Good hands.
The team's offense and so athletic.
And then there's Julie Allemand, a maestro in Europe and a rising star internationally. She came to the WNBA with a reputation for elite court vision and playmaking the Sky needed. Someone to step into the role of floor general, and Allemand seemed like the perfect fit, but the hype fizzled quickly. Her offensive contributions were underwhelming, and while she had moments of brilliance, they were too few and far between to elevate the team. Now, she's headed to the Sparks in what could have been situation for the Sky.
Try and take Linskins with her speed. It's a miss. She had the opportunity. Allemand, no look to Ben Abdelkader. Yes.
But the deal that shook the league to its core was Kahleah Copper. This wasn't just a player. This was the player for Chicago. Copper brought swagger, grit, and leadership every time she stepped onto the court. The hype surrounding her wasn't just about her skills, it was about her identity as the face of the franchise. Yet 2024 was marred by frustration, the team's lackluster down, and eventually Copper requested a trade to the Phoenix Mercury. Fans were heartbroken, but couldn't entirely blame her.
Inside of the final minute now, the third. Copper stays hot.
Impactful, just being in the right place defensively.
It's been a fun game. Gotta love Friday nights in the W. And you gotta love that.
The front office's inability to build a competitive roster around her made it clear Copper wasn't going to waste her prime in a rebuild. Still, it stings to see a player of her caliber leave, knowing she could have been the center of the Sky dynasty. The fans, they were hyped for what these players could bring. They believed in the vision. But when the on-court results didn't match the offseason excitement, disappointment set in.
To 15 rebounds, but doing something great here tonight in the blocks category. Tonight, the Sky been running a promotion to donate $1,000 for each team block to the Angel C. Reese Foundation to help combat cyberbullying. Our friends at Magellan Corporation also joining in to match the donation, so a total of $2,000.
I'm in Belarus, and I'm a post.
All right. So before you were here, you spent a couple years at VCU, right?
Yes.
So when you entered the transfer portal and you kind of opened up your recruiting, what was that process like?
I transferred during the COVID year, so it was 2020, and my roommate.
Let's talk about Lee Uweru, a player with towering potential, literally and figuratively. Standing. She was supposed to be Chicago's answer, sure, but consistency was her Achilles heel. Some nights she'd light up, other nights you'd forget she was even on the court. For a player with her reputation, she failed to deliver the kind of leadership and reliability the Sky desperately needed. Then there's Alana Smith, a player many thought would be the Sky's secret weapon. She was hyped as a defensive anchor with a developing offensive game. Her ability to protect the rim, hit mid. Lee Uweru and Julie Element are gone. Kahleah Copper is gone, and with them, a significant chunk of what the Sky hoped would lead them to glory. Let's talk about Courtney Williams for a second. She came to Chicago as a big-name signing, fresh off an all-star appearance and known for her electric energy and clutch performances. Fans were hyped. She was supposed to be the perfect complement to Kahleah Copper, a versatile scorer who could stretch the floor and make big plays in crunch time. But what happened? And stretch defenses with her three-point shooting made her a valuable asset. The Sky were counting on her to take the next step in her development and become a core piece of their rebuild. But let's be real, Smith didn't quite live up to the billing. While she showed flashes of brilliance, those flashes were too far apart.
Finding Smith, he can't miss. She has not missed.
Back to this one, Sparks have scored 7 straight to start it. Prompting James waiting in the Sky to take that last time out. Here's a drive and a layup there by Smith.
Trying to rebuild, the expectations can weigh heavy.
Dallas backcourt right now. Harrison Burton. Speaking of pesky, here's Rebecca Gardner. 32-year-old rookie finds Copper. Quick first step. Count it plus a foul.
Maybe that's what happened with Williams and Smith. The hype just didn't match the reality. And now, they're off to the Minnesota Lynx, leaving Sky fans wondering what could have been. There were glimpses of greatness moments that made you think maybe they've figured it out, but glimpses aren't enough in the WNBA, where every game counts, and the margins are razor thin. Lapses and inconsistency on offense left the Sky wondering if she was the player they thought they were investing in. The promise was there, but the production, not so much. The hype around Williams and Smith wasn't just about their individual skills, it was about what they could do together. The Sky envisioned a duo that could lock down opponents defensively while dominating offensively. Fans believed this was the beginning of a new era. Instead, it turned into a season of unmet expectations. And let's not forget the pressure these players were under. When you're brought in as a cornerstone, and that's where Williams and Smith ultimately fell short. Now, with both players headed to the Lynx, it's a fresh start for them, but for the Sky, it's another chapter closed without the ending fans had hoped for. And these weren't the only players to leave. Combined with trades and other free agency moves, the Sky's roster is nearly unrecognizable, and so are their playoff chances. All these moves come on the heels of a season where the Sky failed to make the playoffs. These losses didn't just hurt the roster, they shattered team chemistry. It's no wonder they couldn't find a rhythm on the